Hey guys, how are you doing? So we're gonna get straight into part two. So if you didn't watch part one, I quickly went through what is an array data structure, and I briefly talked about how there are built-in functions that we can use, or rather methods. There are built-in methods that we can use to utilize the full power of these arrays. And it's coincidental I mentioned the word power because I have an exercise for everyone where we're going to be using superheroes from My Hero Academia to quickly build out a feature of an app. So I hope you guys enjoy. Right. So, the first thing that we need to understand is when we talk about .map is what is the actual problem we are trying to solve when we look at .map. So, essentially, imagine we had an array, which is just called array. It has numbers 1, 3, and 4. And then we had a new array which was empty. So, essentially, what I want you to do is to grab this array, make sure you don't change it, right? Because I want to reference it later for something else. But then I want you to also create a new array, and in that new array we'll have the numbers all squared. So we're gonna have 1 times 1, which is 1, 3 times 3, which is 9, and 4 times 4, which is 16. So we're gonna have these numbers squared. Okay? So then what this block of code actually does right here is it will grab each number and square it, and then return it and push it up to the new array. This isn't too important, but let's just see. So what I've just quickly done. I forgot to square it. Okay, let me just square it right now. Okay, cool. So what I've quickly done is I've kept the original array intact, and then I've given you a new array that you can reference both of them. I've given you a new array, but this time the new array, all the numbers have been squared, right? So essentially, this is the power of .map, and it is that you can feed .map an argument. You can feed .map a function, and then after you fed it that function, it will turn around and give you what you fed back towards you. So for example, if I wanted to add all these numbers by 2 instead of timesing it by itself, I could do this, do add, and then all the numbers. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, and so on and so forth. So all the numbers change. But now let's get into .map. So if you guys quickly see, really cool diagram of what I'm trying to explain. So whatever I want the argument to be, it will change. It will change it based on a function that I've given it. So let's actually write this down and see how it's done. So very briefly, I have an application, and it's very important that you go on my GitHub and you download this application. Unfortunately, as of right now, I want this to be web based, but I don't have the resources to do that. So you go on GitHub. I'll leave a link in the description. You just write down array tutorial. You download this, and how you run this application is you go on your terminal. I'm using IntelliJ. But go on whatever terminal you want. This is red. I've left it incomplete on purpose, so it's red. And essentially, you want to just type in node run.js. You run it, and if you can see the application, if you see this screen, that's great, right? Nothing is working at the moment. So I'm going to give you a second to. Actually, I'm gonna explain how to do this task, and then I'll pause it. Okay. So the first thing I need you to do is I want you to grab a list of numbers that I have in the complex layer. So I want you to grab this list of numbers, and then I want you to square all these numbers, right? You'll make your changes to the code here. So what we're doing is we're grabbing an array from another layer, and then what I want you to do is once we've grabbed this array, so we've grabbed this array, I want you to square it. And then I want you to do the same things with the string. I want you to change the third value of the string. So in the strings, we have some fruits. So I want you to change the third value. Maybe to prepare whatever you want. And in the third task that I want you to do, I want you to inverse all of the booleans. So you see how it's true here, I want you to make it false, and how it's false here, I want you to make it true. So I want it to be the inverse. Finally, I want you to enhance the hero data from a list of heroes from My Hero Academia. So if you just call back the hero, it will return the hero. But what I want you to do is I want you to change the background color for maybe one or two of your favorite heroes, and I want you to return whatever is your favorite color, and I want you to return that. I want you to change the object inside these arrays, and I want you to change the background color to whatever color you like for your favorite hero. So it can only be your favorite hero. It can't be all the other heroes. I'll give you a second to pause the video, and I wish you the best of luck. Okay, cool. We're back. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, because I appreciate it might have been a bit confusing if you've never done this before. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna return all the values so you know what they look like, and then we're gonna walk through it very slowly how to do what I'm asking. So we're just gonna return so everything's working. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like, and now with the specific tasks that I asked for, I'm going to explain how to do each and every one of them. So you would have already seen earlier from how to square numbers. So essentially you just want to return you just want to return this. You want to times the number by itself. So here inside our map, inside the map method or the map function, we are giving it the argument, and actually if I hover over it you can quickly see we are giving it the argument we are actually giving it the argument of the function that we want to create. So here is the function. We want to have the number and we want to times the number. So what's going to happen, and I'm actually going to console.log it so you can see, and then refresh the page so you can see what's going to happen is the number, we're going to console.log the number, and then we're going to console.log the results so you can see it for yourself. So then let's refresh the page. So to quickly see what's happening, right? It's better to have this side by side. So first we have the number 1. It's the first number in the loop, right? And then next to that, what's 1 times 1? It's 1. Then we have the number 2. It's moved on to the second number in the loop. What's 2 times 2? It's 4. And so on and so forth. Essentially, what .map is, it's looping through your entire array, right? And then it's adding those values to a new array. But you can always reference the old array, which is quite cool about .map. So you can always have the old array. It doesn't change the actual array. It gives you a completely new array. And that's essentially what we've done here. So then the next one that we're gonna do we're gonna do we're gonna change only cherry. We're only gonna change cherry. So how would I change cherry? Let's just take some time to think about this. And yeah, if we we know that cherry is always the third element in the array. So another cool thing about .map is that we have access to something that's called the index. And essentially what the index is, it's just the place where each of your each of your elements are in the array. So if I quickly console.log index and string, so actually this might look cooler if I do it this way. Let's put this inside a let's put this inside, it might be easier to read. Let's put this inside a string, and then we'll get straight to it. So let's we're gonna have to refresh again. Yeah, let's refresh again, and then after we've done a refresh, we want to go straight to the console. Oops. Yeah, so here's the console. Okay, so index 0 is apple, index 1 is banana, index 2 is cherry, and index 3 is date, index 4 is fig. So because I know that cherry is always on index 2, the third element, and because .map gives me the index and I can just use it, I could do something like this. If index, oops, let me put this inside. If index is triple equals to 2, double equals is also fine. Either one is fine. It's more professional to use triple equals. Another video. If it's equal to 2, then what I want you to do is I want you to actually return, and let's just return car. We don't have to return the fruit, it's fine. Else I want you to return the string. So let's save that. Let's inspect console, right? Actually, sorry, we don't need to inspect. So we want cherry to change to car, and we're gonna refresh, and there we go, we've changed the second index. Now let's do the inverse of the booleans. So this one is gonna be relatively quick. So we know each value that's going on. Essentially all we need to do is just return, this is a very cool thing. We can just say, hey, can you return the opposite of whatever this value is? And if we know how booleans work, the opposite of true is always going to be false, and the opposite of false is always going to be true. So I'm going to refresh the page, and you're going to see that these are just going to be completely inversed. Yeah, so they inversed. So now we're going to get to the final one, right? So essentially we want to return it. So one of our heroes, our favorite heroes from My Hero Academia, will return the color red. So the first thing I need to do, and this information isn't necessarily there, I wish I could make this a bit better, but also when you work, you're not always going to get all the information. I would have to look at the actual array that I'm referencing, and I can see that the array that I'm referencing has a background color, it has a name. So because it has a background color and a name, I can go, okay, I'm going to use the name and then manipulate the background color by using the name. So let me just get straight into that. Because all I have to do to make the color change is just to change the background color essentially. So we are going to return. I'm going to use brackets because it's going to be easier for me to read them. So we are going to return. So the first thing I want to do is just if hero dot name is triple equals to All Might, spelled like this. We have to be careful with the cases, so we're just gonna copy and paste it. If hero name is equal to All Might, then specifically only for All Might, I want you to return. We are gonna do. This is all very advanced stuff, so it's okay if you don't know how to do this. I didn't personally expect you to just get all of this. So we're gonna spread the object, except for the background color, and then we're going to have that value in a string, and we're gonna assign it. We're gonna assign it to red. So if the hero is All Might, I want you to return that. Else, let's return hero. So then it won't return. Can't spell. Okay. So now when we refresh, you'll see that All Might's color, background color, has turned red. So now, to give you a bit of bonus, this doesn't only have to be limited to All Might. We could do, it has to be quite exact, so that's why I have to copy and paste. We could do Deku, let's do yellow. So return, and then we'll make Deku yellow. So essentially that's what I wanted to do. Congratulations if you were able to do it. If it was hard, tell me about it. I'm trying to rapidly improve my style of content and my ability to engage and teach you. So it would be very helpful if you could give me some feedback on how I could have better prepared this. I'm definitely going to look over the video and definitely see how I could have presented this a bit better and made it a bit less confusing. But if you've made it to the end, thank you for taking the time to watch all of this and get better. I think it's awesome that you're starting this journey or are along this journey on becoming a better programmer. I hope I can help you. And yeah, I wish you the best. Have a nice day.